Hello, traders. FX Pip Collector here. Today is Monday, December 8th, and this is my morning market breakdown of all the pairs on this list right here, which are definitely the main pairs that I trade. I do share every single trade with my members at the time of entry. Definitely not a signal service, but if you are interested, definitely check out my website, fxpipcollector.com. So anyways, last week we did have a pretty significant break of structure to the downside on the US dollar index. Now the question is this the end of a pullback right here? If it is the end of a pullback on this time frame, it will start making lower lows, lower highs. If it's not the end of a pullback, then it would likely end up turning into a much more overlapping pattern, maybe something like this, going down to one of these Fibonacci levels and then breaking to the upside and continuing the higher time frame uptrend. To be honest with you, because of the weekly time frame, I'm still leaning towards the idea that this is more likely just going to end up being a pullback to this last move up. But we'll just take it one step at a time, and right now we are definitely in a move to the downside. Going down to the 4 hour time frame, our structure is very, very close to price. So if price does go up and break that, the first thing I would do is on my Fibonacci retracement on this whole move down. I would expect the next move to either be a wave B or a wave 2. This whole move down would either be an A or a 1. And a wave B or wave 2 is traded exactly the same, which is most likely an overlapping corrective pattern to a Fibonacci retracement level of this whole move down, some sort of an ABC of B or some sort of an ABC of 2. So I take this information and I apply it to all the US dollar pairs themselves except for gold. Gold doesn't really care what the US dollar index is doing most of the time. So moving on to the euro dollar, we're at a very crucial point on some of these dollar pairs because if this is just a pullback within a downtrend, because we have definitely not broken structure yet, so the daily is still down. We also have our Fibonacci extension on there, and we're at the 100% Fibonacci extension. So if this right here really is an ABC and it's gonna go down, then this is likely the place that it would end up going down. So very, very crucial point whether or not this is an ABC or whether or not it breaks and holds above this structure, which would prove to me that we're back into the weekly and monthly time frame uptrend. For now, definitely still. Well, actually, technically, the euro dollar is actually one of the only ones that I think may have given us a break and structure down. We got a pretty nice series of higher highs, higher lows the whole way up, and then we got a nice break and structure to the downside right here. So if this right here really is a top, then we should see lower highs, lower highs. We should start to see this trending down. So on the euro dollar, I definitely would be recommending shorts just because of this break of structure. You know, this looks like a potential short right here. We'll see if it actually follows through, but it looks like a potential A. Looks like 3 ways down for a B. You know, maybe another push up for a C. It kind of more is 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up. So it might be a WXY, not an ABC, but I don't really care whether it's a WXY ABC. They're pretty much traded exactly the same. So anyways, moving on to the pound dollar. The pound dollar, same type of thing. I mean, the pound was very, very strong last week, but we still don't have a break of structure to the upside on the daily. We got our Fibonacci retracement on this last impulsive move down. We're sitting at the 78% Fibonacci retracement. If this really is some sort of a just, overextended ABC, then this 78% is where we would expect to see a break to the downside on sort of time frames. So going down to the 4 hour time frame, our most recent structure is very close to price, and it does look like price is trying to break down. If price does break and hold below here, then I would most likely take my Fibonacci retracement and put it on the whole move. But most likely, if it does break down, then this is not a 1, 2, 3 continuation of the weekly, uptrend, but instead this is a ABC, and this would actually start a brand new downtrend more than likely. So very, very crucial to try to figure out over the next day or two whether this is just an ABC, just a pullback within an uptrend, or whether this is actually reversing to the downside and continuing that daily, weekly move to the downside. So the Aussie dollar is very, very strong. On the higher time frames, the Aussie dollar kind of looks like it's just continuing the uptrend. I mean, my monthly time frame is that this thing is going to go way, way, way up. So for now, definitely very bullish. We are sitting at the 78% Fibonacci retracement, could act as an area of resistance. We also, just recently took out all these structures right here, so it would make sense to see a pullback next. I'm hoping to see a pullback because a pullback for me is an opportunity hopefully to go long again at the end of the pullback for the continuation of the uptrend. Going down to the 4-hour time frame, structure on this one I think is a little lower. I mean, I don't think I would turn bearish unless it broke this low right here. Otherwise, anything I do see to the downside could just be a pullback within an uptrend. So even though we are sitting at this 78%, I definitely am still recommending longs. I don't really think I would go long right this minute. I would want to see a little bit bigger of a pullback. Maybe throw your Fibonacci retracement from here to here. Maybe expect to see something like this. And then if it goes up at a Fib level, then yeah, definitely still looking for longs unless it goes down and gives us this significant 4-hour time frame break of structure to the downside. And the Kiwi dollar, pretty much exactly the same story as the Aussie dollar. We recently got a break of structure to the upside on the Kiwi dollar, so we're definitely looking for longs. This is the weekly time frame structure. If that turns, breaks this high right here, then that means that the weekly is likely back into an uptrend also. This could be the end of an ABC on the weekly time frame. If it is, then this could actually be starting a brand new uptrend on the daily time frame, making higher highs and higher lows. So keeping all that in mind, going down to the 4-hour time frame, definitely don't break a structure. Definitely still recommending longs. Sometimes you do have to be a little bit cautious about going long right up against Fibonacci levels. So, bigger pullbacks definitely would be nice, but that definitely was a nice little three-way pullback right there. This was a nice little three-way pullback right there. And this was even a 1, 2, 3-way pullback we had last week. So definitely still looking for longs unless we get that nice break of structure to the downside, roughly on the 2 to 4 hour time frame. So the US dollar CAD, because of the CAD news we had last week, was very weak to the downside. We know one thing for sure now is that this wave from here to here is complete. Now, there's only two things that's going to happen. It's either going to make a pullback to this whole wave, meaning that it's going to be very overlapping, and then eventually continue back up for a wave C, for an A, a B, and a C. Or if this is actually possibly the end of a pullback, which on the weekly it looks like it possibly could be, then it possibly could just keep on going down. Either way, we would be looking for sorts while we learn and earn whether this is an overlapping corrective pattern or whether it's an impulsive pattern. Most recent structure is way up here on the 4-hour time frame. So even if it does go up, because most recent structure is so far away from current price, I think even if it does push up, it's probably very likely just a pullback within a downtrend. So taking it all the way down to the 1 hour time frame. If it breaks structure on the 1 hour, which it definitely hasn't, the first thing I would do is throw my Fibonacci retracement on the whole move down. And for me personally, just because I'm more of a swing trader, I would still be looking for sorts. If it breaks structure, you could try to scalp to the long side, but I definitely think waiting patiently for three-way pullbacks would be the best bet, potentially for the continuation of this higher time frame downtrend. Like I said, whether it's a brand new downtrend or whether it's a correction to the whole move up on the daily, we're just going to have to hopefully learn and earn. So moving on to the US dollar Swiss. US dollar Swiss turned last week right here. We're at a perfect Fibonacci retracement of this move up right here. So very nice move. We got a nice engulfing move to the upside at a Fibonacci level. My original analysis had this going up and taking out the high of wave W, which would put us above here, which may even put us up to about this 100% Fibonacci extension. So definitely still very bullish on this one. Going down to the 4-hour time frame, I really want to see this break of structure. We still don't have confirmation with the break of structure. We do have an engulfing move on the daily, which gives you a little bit of confidence to start looking for longs. But until we get this break of structure, we need to realize that it could possibly make a lower high and could possibly keep going down. Going down to the 1 hour time frame, it looks like it made a 1, 2, 3-way pullback to the 61% this morning. Nice engulfing move to the upside. It looks possibly like the end of a pullback. If it is the end of a pullback and it goes up and takes out this high, that's what's going to make me much more, bullish and much more, you know, aggressively looking for pullback entries, looking for three-way pullback entries for the continuation of the higher time frame move to the upside. Moving on to gold. I mean, last week I called gold almost perfectly with the overlapping pattern. I still think this is an A. I still think we're in a wave B. I still think we need to push up one more time to at least grab one of these higher fib levels before we actually go down and make a wave C. So last week, pretty much in all my videos, I said gold is very likely going to be overlapping this week because you can clearly see that this was 5 ways down like an A. You can clearly see this is 3 ways up like a B. I think it would make more sense for this to go down, take out this low for a C, and then go up and make the bigger move. Because to me, it looks like a 1, it looks like a 2, it looks like a 3. I think we're in an ABC of 4, and I think it needs to push up again for a 5. You know, once it hits that fib level, if it goes down and breaks structure, that's the big reversal that we potentially would be looking for. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, I think that they would make more sense for it to push down. But when you're in an uptrend on pretty much every single time frame, you do have to realize that sometimes it can just go and go and go and go. So what I'm looking for is I got my Fibonacci retracement from here to here. I'm looking for a nice Fibonacci bounce. I would like to see a break of structure to the downside at a fib level. It tried to break structure at this 38%, but it didn't. It may actually end up pushing up to like the 50 to 61%, then giving you a nice break of structure, and then giving you another push to the downside. Just keep in mind the trend is up on every single time frame, and the trend is always your friend, especially on all the very, very high time frames. Moving on to the JPY basket, I normally just look at the JPY basket on like the daily and the 4 hour just to help me get direction for the dollar, the yen pairs, just like I do on the US dollar index with the dollar pairs. The JPY basket is my index for the JPY pairs. There is no reason whatsoever to say that the JPY basket is going up. It looks like a potential ABC on the weekly time frame, but we have to realize that this could keep going down. There's no proof whatsoever to say it's bullish. Going down to the 4 hour time frame, I mean, it never broke any structure. This is all very, very sideways. Kind of looks to me like it's going to go down and make a double bottom, and it possibly could even break out and keep on going down. So if I'm very bearish at JPY basket, that means that I need to be bullish all my JPY pairs, which I definitely still am. Moving on to the US dollar yen. Obviously, the US dollar yen is a little bit of a dollar pair and a yen pair, but I think that it's more of a yen pair for sure. Now, it definitely did go down to the 78%. All we really need to see is a nice engulfing up, and I think that's a confirmation we need to know that it's going back up. The trend is for sure up on the daily time frame. This move down never gave us a break of structure, never gave us a significant lower high. The trend on the daily and the weekly is definitely still up. Going down to the 4 hour time frame, this is where I saw a break of structure this morning. But the problem is this break of structure telling us that this pullback is over and that we're back into an uptrend? It definitely could be. But this break of structure also could just tell us that this wave from here to here is over, which is why I got my fib on there. If it does break to the downside at a Fibonacci level, then definitely exit your longs and maybe even go short again. If it doesn't, and it just keeps on going up, eventually taking out this high, it will likely at that point just keep on making higher highs, higher lows. Because of the JPY basket, I'm very bullish the JPY pairs, like I was just saying a few minutes ago. The euro has been pretty strong also. I mean, this is an extremely, extremely sideways pattern. I was thinking it was going to at least go down to the 38 or the 50 before it really ended up going up. But when you're in an uptrend on the weekly, the daily, and every single time frame is in an uptrend, you have to realize that at pretty much any point it could just continue the uptrend. So possibly what happened here is we have like a running ABC. We got one down like wave A. This is like a 1, 2, 3 pattern for the wave B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for the C. We got a higher high wave C, which is just basically a running ABC correction. Now, don't get me wrong, if it goes up, grabs these highs, then turns down, it could go down to the 38 or the 50%. Just the problem is that the weekly is up, the daily is up, the monthly is up. When every single time frame is up, the odds are that it could just keep going up, making higher highs, higher lows. So definitely looking for longs based on this and the JPY basket. So, looking at the pound yen, the pound was very strong last week. The pound never even came remotely close to breaking structure to the downside. Now that we got a new high here, we can move our daily structure to here. If it breaks below there at any point, then I'll definitely become bearish. If it doesn't, then I'll definitely stay bullish. I mean, this 100% Fibonacci extension is right here, and I think at this point there's probably a very good likelihood it will hit that. Moving down to the 4 hour time frame, I mean, our structure level is here. You might have some minor structure here too, but there is no break of structure yet. If this goes up and makes a double top and then goes down, starts breaking structure, okay, we can become bearish. But based on the JPY basket, based on the weekly, the daily, the monthly, all being in an uptrend, I personally would be hyper focused on longs. Any move I see to the downside, I would not be trying to trade, but instead I'd be looking at anything I see to the downside, 1, 2, 3 ways down is possibly just another opportunity to go long, using Fibonacci retracement to help with that. We had 1, 2, 3 ways down, wait to the 61% here. Then last week we had 1, 2, 3 ways down. I guarantee that that was a perfect Fibonacci bounce if you had your Fib levels on this last move up. So definitely still looking for longs in an uptrend on this one also. Like I said, I do save every single trade I take with my members at the time of entry. I am definitely not a scalper. I'm not really even a day trader. I'm definitely more of a swing trader. I do trade a bigger list of pairs. I actually trade everything on this list right here. I do not trade gold because I am from America, but if anybody is interested in joining my website, participating in my members area, my members tats, and, receiving all the trades that I take at the time of entry, then check out my website, fxpipcollector.com. And as always, thank you for watching and happy trading.